As for those things herein alleged, I have good reason and multiple reliable sources which lead me to believe they are true.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dave from Net4Truth USA, Inglorious Patriots. It is July 26th, 2020, and the time now is 0130 hours Eastern Standard Time here in Northeast West Bumblefuck, North Carolina. Just when you think that you've reached the bottom of the rabbit hole, just when you think there is no more that could possibly go to this never-ending story of child trafficking, satanic ritual abuse, and crimes against humanity that are indescribable and are nowhere to be found anywhere in the books specified under a statute that I know of. Just when you think you reached the end of it, and just when you think you saw the worst of it, something else comes along to make that previous 3 years or more of research and 3 years more of going to bed crying for innocent people and wondering how another human being can do this to anyone, much less an innocent child, and much less to so many innocent children. Just when you think you reached the bottom of the pit, just when you think that you have stared the devil in the face, there's another demon that arises. It turns out, and this is from multiple reliable sources who, for reason of their own safety, cannot be named, and this is for the reason that I don't disclose my location anymore, because of threats, and because of veiled threats, and because of the nature of what I'm dealing with here. John F. Kennedy knew about the cabal. He knew about the deep state, and he probably knew what was going on with what I'm about to tell you, or at least had an inkling of it. But his problem was he didn't know the extent of the evil. He didn't know the depths to which I hate to use the term human spirit, because something like this transcends the nature of humanity. But it turns out, and this is empirical fact, based on just a few of us who have worked diligently and spent all of our free time, all of our waking hours, and believe me, the waking hours have been really most of my day and most of the days of the people who know the truth. Like Q says, those good who know cannot sleep. I have PTSD from the Vietnam War, and it's only compounded by what I'm about to reveal to you. This is something unbelievable. This article was written last August, and it's on usahitman.com. I provide a link below in case you want to verify that this is not something that I just made up. The title of the article is U.S. Underground Base and Submarines Which Epstein Island is Hiding. We need to cover submarines, systematic child abuse bases that are thought to be located deep underground beneath Epstein Island. I saw this post on another site, which brought up some very interesting information. What better way for a billionaire's pedophile ring to use a submerged vessel for the use of trafficking children? No one would have any idea who is coming or going from the mysterious Pedo Island. Now, this is one of the submarines manufactured by Migaloo, which is a company owned by Ghislaine Maxwell's parents, allegedly. And this part of the text is cut off, and it's not me. I can't even squeeze it together. It's the website. Yacht owners really want to put everyone at port to shame. They should consider sailing on the Migaloo private submarine yacht, a concept yacht created by Migaloo, an Austrian design and engineering firm. The line of luxury super yachts offers a range of bespoke underwater crafts that vary in size. After sailing the new Migaloo submarine yacht underwater, owners can close up decks and turn the craft into a fully operational submarine. The Terramar project, which Maxwell is the founder, could have easily had access to submarines or even a submarine car. We see Terramar endorsing Migaloo submarines on the Terramar site. The luxury vessel below is a concept, but I can prove that Maxwell does have a pilot license for submarines. Wikipedia tells us Ghislaine Noel Maxwell is a British socialite and the youngest child of publisher Robert Maxwell. She has been associated with Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted child molester. Maxwell moved to the United States after her father's death and has become an advocate for the ocean as founder of the Terramar Project. Here's an ad. Love Blue Planet? Go one step further and take a submarine trip into the something. And that's the website screwed up, so I can't help that. Below is a screenshot from articles about Maxwell and her love for the ocean, in which she states herself she has licenses to pilot submarines. Here is another source that further verifies the hunch that Maxwell may have used submarines to move children, as well as establishing an ocean-based charity that offers passports to people to gain citizenship to the sea, in a move that may even mean she is very familiar with maritime laws. And you can read the small text for yourself. I'll leave a link below. Here you can hear her tell you herself about how laws of the sea are different and even suggest we own 45% of the world. This is getting into where she distributes passports to citizens of Terramar, more like it. The suspicions around Maxwell's underwater activity now has even more foundation, as does the question when we see she also says she has a UAV that detaches from boats. This could be how they are trafficking children in and out of Epstein Island and entering the island from beneath. It also would explain why Epstein bought a cement truck to cement all these underground tunnels, or the access to the underground tunnels. You see the temple right here, where I'm tapping. You see the white dot there. The temple is the access point to all these underground tunnels and submarine bays just under the water here. Since I have hit on the submarine issue, other people have also begun to look into this, and I was contacted by somebody who made this depiction showing how submarines can be used to avoid detection to enter Little St. James Island. The Terramar Project are also in the business of issuing dual citizen ocean passports to people as they portray their love for the ocean, which is rather fitting considering the founder is extremely connected to child trafficking via air, sea, and land. We now have to ask if Maxwell has used the Terramar Project as cover to be at sea, and if any vessels linked to Terramar have been used to traffic children. And here's a passport with all stamps on it. Terramar passport. Citizen of Terramar. Horse shit. Alright, this is how do I sign up and all this kind of stuff. Terramar have now ceased all operations since the arrest of Jeffrey Epstein, but there are also unconfirmed reports that Maxwell was found unresponsive shortly after the billionaire pedophile's arrest. Would Terramar ceasing operations be linked to a possible death or arrest of Ghislaine Maxwell, who is heavily linked to an international child trafficking ring of elites. You got to remember, this article was written a year ago. A year ago. The Terramar Project is sad to announce that it will cease all operations. Terramar's mission has always been to empower a global ocean community with free news, education, and actions for change. Terramar wants to thank all its supporters, partners, and fellow ocean lovers. Yeah, okay. The Terramar Twitter page made the announcement on Friday, July 12, 2019, and was swiftly followed by the closure of their website that also carries an announcement. Note the site was operational just a matter of hours before the news broke. We also, to make a little note here, we also found that Google had scrubbed the article of Jeffrey Epstein committing suicide in a North Vietnamese war bunker in Hanoi, and forgot to scrub the link to the article. And I'll leave that link in the description as well, so you can never tell what the truth is. You can only tell that all of the crap that they're putting out is lies. On Sunday, July 14, 2019, an archived version of the website came online. The URL says DC in it. I am not sure if this is the website's own archive or if the site has been taken over. The old original .org site is still showing the closure announcement. Exploring women. An interview with Ghislaine Maxwell, ocean citizen. Citizen of the ocean. Yeah, go swim with the fishes. You're going to be swimming with the fishes, all right? You ain't going to make it to trial. We can see how Richard Branson is an associate of Maxwell and the Terramar Project with the Virgin Islands, being just a stone's throw away from Epstein Island. Branson's own private island has been brought up in allegations including another sick pedo known as Nexium, whose leader was recently found guilty on all charges for related matters. Here's a screenshot of just one of the reports that Ghislaine Maxwell has been found in a medically bad way. We also have to be aware of the hypothesis that if she is reported dead, that it may be a fake death and she is being taken out of the limelight. Tweet by Dan Harrington. 57-year-old British socialite thought to be Jeffrey Epstein's madam found unresponsive in her Tribeca home. Unreal. Members of the public have vented their disgust and allegations around Maxwell, and they questioned the Terramar Project's morality on Twitter after allegations of child rape committed by the founder of the UK-US charity. Other ocean-dwelling foundations that are in partnership with the Terramar Project have also started to feel the heat, as seen below. Is this the calm before the Earth Zorg Island Ocean Summit festivities? Come find the Terramar Project and us tomorrow to nerd out about our favorite thing, the ocean. Earth X, healthy oceans. Yeah, okay, healthy oceans. Yeah, this guy says, sharks are friends, not food. Yeah, go swimming with them. See how friendly they are. And this is a whole bunch of tweets here, and there's crap. In 2012, Maxwell incorporated LMAX Enterprise Limited with herself as secretary and the only director listed. In its filings with Companies House, she is described as a resident of the UK with a correspondent address in Salisbury, not far from Stonehenge. The address for the company is in London. It is a non-trading company listed as dormant, and its net assets are £1. And here's the net asset statement: £1. Yeah, £1. Whatever. This is I guess a cell phone picture of the surveillance cameras down on Epstein Island, and you can see some kids floating around here. You can see right here where I'm tapping, some kids, looks like they're sitting in their underwear around a table doing something sick. Some sick shit. And now that you are hopefully shocked, I don't know what shocks me anymore. You have to remember that there was a $500 million surveillance and communication system installed on Epstein Island. You also have to remember that Joe Biden and his son owned the island next door, and one of them bought it and sold the other 3 parcels, and right next to Jeffrey Epstein's island and his underwater submarines, and the entire planet we know is now crisscrossed with underground tunnels, some of them which go under the ocean. We know about China Lake. China Lake has been exhibiting some weird seismic anomalies for over a year now, and those cannot be attributed to normal natural phenomena. Let's put it that way. Whether or not these earthquakes and their aftershocks really come from the earth, there's no way to tell without an impartial expert looking at the seismic data who can interpret all the wiggles and tell whether this was something that was artificially created, like a bomb, or the movement of the earth. It's kind of hard to imagine last July a 7.1 magnitude earthquake with 400 aftershocks. I don't see how that could happen, but be that as it may. Underwater submarines with drop-down taxis sounds like tales from Nimrod or Davy Jones's Locker and shit that you heard as a kid. Science fiction. But as you've seen, the picture of the submarines are real. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you, if you got enough money, you can do anything. When you got enough money and you've done what these people have done, I guess boredom sets in, and the only other thing left is to rape and sacrifice children to Molech. I mean, does that make any sense to you? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me, but you know, I've always said this, and I've coined this phrase. Evil doesn't need a reason. All it requires is an opportunity. These people are evil, and they will do evil shit for no reason, without any compulsion or compassion whatsoever. And they do it in your face every day, and they've been doing it ever since Abram walked out of the Ur of the Chaldees back in biblical times. And the internet is both a blessing and a curse, because on the dark web, and even as we've seen lately on some of these sites like Wayfair and such, that they sell products that we know are not products, like this Picasso art that they sell. People pay $3,000 for an 8x10 Picasso that is a lithograph. 150 or 200 were made of something with eyes on the side and nose, and it's ugly, and I wouldn't have that shit in my bathroom. But people pay good money for this stuff, and I have a feeling that the quote-unquote art community, among other things, is just a method of laundering money. You pay $20,000 for a Picasso, and you get a Picasso and something else. That's another thing that's going to blow up pretty soon, because I never understood it from when I was young. I never understood why anyone would pay their hard-earned money for something that's so ugly that I would throw it in the garbage. In Chicago, in front of one of the banks there, they got this big iron dragon, looks like, that's rusting all over the sidewalk, and it's just ugly. It doesn't go with the landscape. It doesn't go with the architecture. But it's there, and somebody paid to put it there, and somebody paid good money for that thing to be put there. And you go downtown New York City, go down Wall Street, you see cement trees, you see what looks like something that came out of a trash compactor hanging from the eave of a building, and things worse than that. Go in front of one police plaza, and there's 3 big 2-story iron things that they painted red, welded together. For what that means, I don't know. Somebody paid good money for that crap, and the money didn't come from their pocket, it came from the taxpayers. Taxpayers are funding all of this crap. They're not using their money. And I'm telling you, this story fits the pattern of facts. It fits in with NXIVM, and it even fits up with the non-existent abandoned farmhouse that I'm going to have to get to pretty shortly. Child Protective Services is child procurement services. They stand in the role of a protector, and they are, in fact, the demons that are making these children disappear. And that is proven beyond any doubt whatsoever. Will Kanishi and I last year did several videos on this topic. We talked to several victims, parents and grandparents of victims of this, who have been ripped from their families, never to be seen again. Tell me how that protects them. This is not a joke, and it's done right in the public's face, and the public fails to see it. But there is a great awakening coming. There is a great disclosure coming. And last I checked, there's 187,000 sealed federal indictments that cannot possibly be handled by local law enforcement and could only be handled by the military. Why would you hold 187,000 sealed indictments in abeyance? Because it's like walking into your kitchen when you have cockroaches and you turn on the light. And when you turn on that light, if you don't get every single one of them, you'll have them forever. And God forbid you see the little ones. Because when you see the little ones, you might as well get a can of gasoline and set your house on fire, because you will never, ever, ever get rid of roaches when you see the tiny little ones. And that's what we've got here. We've got a lot of big roaches that are being supported by a bunch of little roaches that are hiding in the walls, hiding in the woodwork. And I don't believe there's that much of a market. I just can't fathom humanity being that fucked up, that there's so much of a market for this type of thing, that it is able to support custom submarines and tunnels under the ocean and things of that nature. This is evil stuff. This is stuff that is impossible to fathom, and that's why people don't believe it. It's so terrible that it is incomprehensible, and that is the way that they get away with it. It's so unbelievable that when you disclose it, they can call you a conspiracy theorist, which is a term, by the way, that was coined by the FBI back in the days of the John F. Kennedy assassination for those who questioned the narrative of magic bullets and lone shooters and things of that nature. But that's what we've come to. And it's a blessing in disguise that the internet came along, because if it wasn't for citizen journalists, we would have never learned of any of this. But the internet, on the other side, also facilitates the trafficking. It also enables the market for this type of crap to grow, and for people to become addicted, for lack of a better term, to the pornography and the depictions of abuse that feed into this global market. And the reason why these politicians on the Democrat side, and some on the Republican side, and kind of on the down low, but still, they're shaking in their boots too. The reason that they're against Trump, he's been in the belly of the beast. He knows what he saw. He sees and doesn't partake in. And I believe John F. Kennedy Jr. is still alive. I hope that I'm right. Only time will tell. But once that revelation is made, and once these things become common knowledge, Q is right. These people will not be able to walk down the street. There will be no trials. There will be vigilantism out of control. There will be massive outrage. And the people who are going to be even more outraged are the people who supported these demons and believed in them all their lives, and believed the lies that they've told about Donald Trump, and participated with emotion disconnected from logic. There is a brilliant axiom that was penned many years ago by one of the country's most prolific authors, and it goes like this. The workability of a postulate is established by the degree to which it explains existing phenomena which is already known, by the degree that it predicts new phenomena which, when looked for, will be found to exist, and by the degree that it does not require that phenomena which do not exist in fact be called into existence for explanation. Once your understanding of this axiom is complete, your IQ will jump 30 points, because you will know how to pick the fly shit out of pepper. Apply this axiom to everything that you see and hear. You see, my friends, I'm just so shocked by this that I could hardly speak. I could hardly put two sentences together. I usually type down what I want to say and then read it like a teleprompter, but I'm just at that point where there is so much dastardly evil that I can't even put it into words. How is this possible for a human being to do? How is it possible, outside of some twisted, demented, horror fiction writer, to even come up with something like this, and much less for it to be empirically proven by facts and their own documents that are staring you right in the face, that are available anywhere. And by the way, we have Jeffrey Epstein's book, his little black book, with all the names redacted, unredacted. We have everybody who he had a special relationship with. Whether or not it involved child abuse or not is not in my purview to speculate on. But this is what these people are all about. And out of all the things that they could have said or done to impugn the reputation of a president, what did they come up with? The PP dossier. Something that is so patently absurd and it's laughable. And they pursued this for 3.5 years. They pursued General Flynn and Mr. Stone and Julian Assange the same way, with absolutely no evidence, absolutely no proof, with the full complicity of the Mockingbird mainstream media that they have in their pocket and have had in their pockets, compromised, bribed, blackmailed by whatever means since before John F. Kennedy. And the evil has run rampant ever since. It was evil before, but this is orders of magnitude more evil, because when you don't put it in its place, it just keeps growing exponentially. It just keeps getting worse. And the worse it gets, the less people want to believe it exists. The worse it gets, the more unbelievable the factual allegations become. That's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. It's easy to deceive people when all of the mainstream media are parroting the same bullshit. And we've shown examples of that, where every mainstream media channel across the country and across the planet are using the same phraseology, the exact same thing, reading from a teleprompter, their prepared scripts. Jane Standley of the BBC on 9/11 is a prime example. First of all, what was she doing here the morning of 9/11? Second of all, she wasn't familiar with the downtown landscape, so when she reported that Building 7 fell, 25 minutes before it fell, nobody realized the faux pas until it already went out over the air. What can you tell us, Jane? Oh, nothing you don't already know, because you're reading from the script that I have in my hand. And if you knew about it ahead of time and didn't act to stop it, you are just as guilty as the people who did it. And if we know something about a crime being committed, I'm talking about me now, I'm going to blow it up. I'm going to blow up the spot. And I'm not thinking about the consequences to me, because the Lord takes care of me. I put my trust in God that He has put me here for that reason. He has put me through hell, so I know without a shadow of a doubt that what comes out of my mouth, spoken from the heart, is absolutely 100% true. I wouldn't be wasting my time blowing smoke up your ass. It's not what I do. It's not what the half a dozen people who are working close with me, some of whom cannot be named, like the police officer at One Police Plaza, who I've known for many years, who verified personally to me that the videotape of Umar Abedin and Hillary Clinton torturing a little girl to death and doing unspeakable satanic things to her absolutely and totally exists and in the possession of the New York Police Department and the FBI, and has been for many years. It was stored on the computer of the Peter Tweeter on his laptop under insurance file, because even he knew what he was dealing with. And I'm surprised he ain't dead. I'm surprised they didn't whack him. And I want you to remember this, folks. Whenever you see a video on this platform and on many other big tech controlled platforms that suddenly disappear, know that they are disappearing these videos left and right because they speak the truth, and the truth shall not be spoken in a techno-Nazi dictatorship, which is what we are about to become if we do not get control over this. So, in lieu of getting control over it legally, which is about to be done, I hope, the people who are doing this, myself included, are mirroring these videos multiple times on these platforms and other platforms that are not controlled by the deep state. If you're looking for the truth, it's going to be hard to find until we get control of the people who don't want the truth to be told for one reason or another. And the only reason I can think of that these big tech companies want to suppress this information is because their CEOs, who've got all this money and time on their hands, have partaken in this ritual sacrifice of children, or have done something that they can be controlled with. Jeffrey Epstein's island, his house in Manhattan, his ranch out in New Mexico, his plane that he flew back and forth to his island, was outfitted with multiple cameras and sound recording equipment. And Ghislaine Maxwell was part of all this, and she probably has archived copies of all this somewhere. And when you've got the politicians, the prime ministers, and the high officials of every country in a position where you can hold something over their head, then basically you control the planet. You control the planet because you can make these officials do anything that you want them to do. Pass any laws or repeal any laws that you want. Change money. Traffic, drugs, children, whatever makes you money. Not that you don't have enough. Hell, if I had $1 million, you wouldn't hear a word from me. I'd be out barbecuing somewhere in Uwara Mountains. I'd be out there hang gliding or doing some stupid shit just to have fun. But I wouldn't be harming anybody. I wouldn't be hurting anybody. I wouldn't certainly not be kidnapping, torturing people. Because I don't believe that any one of us are any better than any other one of us. We're all the same. All men are created equal. And it doesn't mean that if you're black, you're lower than somebody who's white or pink or purple. And you know what I mean without me saying it. I have audience here of all different nationalities and all different races and several different countries, and with a 99% like thumbs up ratio to thumbs down ratio, considering all the fucking trolls that we got here, I think I'm speaking for the majority, the vast majority of the American people and the vast majority of the world population, that basically a decent human being wants to live their lives and be left alone. They're not looking to hurt anybody. They're not looking to rip anybody off. They're not looking to own anything that they didn't work for. They just want to be treated like normal, decent people, God-fearing people. And when you take God out of the equation, then anything is possible. Because it says in the Bible that the heart of man is desperately wicked. And when they go out into the Bohemian Grove and perform their cremation of care ceremony, which I said in another video, is really the only unforgivable sin that the Bible says will not be forgiven, and that's blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. That's their seal. That's their signature on the contract with the devil that is irrevocable. Once you sign your soul over to the devil, there is no coming back. There is no redemption. There is no fixing what's broken. You're done. So please join me in prayer for all the innocent people and all the innocent children that have been abused by these demons over the centuries and millennia, that God has somehow put out in the open after all this time. And I'm going to ask him when I get called home, what took you so long? And he might respond with something like, well, you know that this was all a digital simulation anyway. It really didn't take that long. It was only a couple of microseconds in my field of perception. Obviously, your field of perception is different than mine. Maybe he'll give me an answer, something like that. At least it would comfort me a little bit to know that a merciful and loving God wouldn't let this kind of thing happen for very long before he sent the lightnings and the firebombs from heaven. I'll leave you with this, ladies and gentlemen. It's easier to deceive people than to convince them that they've been deceived. And we've all been deceived. We've all been lied to. We've all been gaslighted. And we've all lived the American dream. Only the American dream was really an American dream. We were asleep, but now we're awake. And just think of what could have been the last 55 years had John F. Kennedy had the, street smarts and the resolve that President Donald Trump has. Just think of what could have been. All of us were robbed of what could have been. But now we're working to what will be. And I'll tell you what will not be on my watch. What will not be on my watch is a bunch of demonic, Kabbalist, communist, traitorous insurrectionists controlling my country or harming, abusing, killing, kidnapping innocent children, God help you if I catch you, because I'm not the police. This is Dave from Net4 Truth USA, Inglorious Patriots.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing this video. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your calls of encouragement. And most of all, thank you for your support. Please subscribe to our backup channels on YouTube, Inglorious Patriots, Net4 Truth USA 2 Patriot Channel, and Ethernet Warriors. You can also catch us on BitChute.com/Net4TruthUSA, remonetized.org/user/Inglorious-Patriots9, and drop.space/@Net4TruthUSA. All the links are in the description. We fly so close to the target, we are on our 5th fighter jet. We will be relentless and persistent until the enemies of freedom are defeated. You can support this channel by using the links in the description, but for a $100 donation, I will personally send you a autographed hardcover special edition copy of Land of Childhood's Fears. Also, visit my bookstore at lulu.com/Net4TruthUSA. If you are viewing this video on BitChute, you can use the links in the description to support us, or simply click the green $ dot on our video to support this channel. Thank you. Links are in the description section.